Hello, it's Jackie from Raise Your Vibe and Thrive Society. And I want to talk about a subject on, do you have to suffer, have suffered in the past to be spiritual? And there are, now what I'm sharing with you are my beliefs, okay? That doesn't mean that other people's beliefs are not correct and that only mine are right. These are my beliefs. So you take what you will from that. So in answer to that question, do we have to have suffered in order to be spiritual? And the answer is no. Of course not. It's not about suffering to suddenly see the light. However, I do believe that if our soul's purpose is for us to teach spiritual lessons, if we are here to help the world, to share our message, to share our views, and to really help to raise the vibration of the planet, then the answer is slightly different. Because in order for us to be able to do that, in order for us to be able to teach, in order for us to be able to share, to be able to talk about things that are emotive for people, we need to have gone through a certain element of our own suffering, our own despair, our own emotional journey, for us to be able to help other people going through similar, if that makes sense. You know, I can't talk to you and help you and teach you to fundamentally understand what's going on with you emotionally. You know, whether that's through grief, whether that's through loss, whether that's through things that happened to you in your past. How can I teach you to find a way through that if I haven't experienced that myself? So I think it is twofold, because, yeah, you know, when we're on a spiritual path, it doesn't mean that we're going to have to keep suffering and keep suffering and keep suffering. Because if we have that mentality, then yeah, hey, that's what we're going to attract. We're going to attract more suffering. You know, the universe, the spirit don't want us to suffer. They want us to live a life of abundance, okay? A life of prosperity, a life of fulfillment, a life of joy, pleasure, love. However, we're born as innocent souls. We're born with the vibration of unconditional love. You know, we are born, and it's not until we start to grow older that we then will get our own belief systems in place. From the people that I've met on my spiritual journey, and certainly from my experience, there has been, in their lives, in my life, quite a lot of suffering. Suffering is relative. It's relative to the person. So someone might look at my suffering as not as much as their suffering. It isn't about that. It's about the lessons that we learnt from what we went through. Okay? You know, I didn't start on my spiritual journey until I was 32. So, you know, I'd had 32 years of being, you know, not thinking anything about being spiritual, not necessarily understanding it, and a lot of fear behind it as well. But within those 32 years, I experienced quite a lot of things that now help me on my spiritual path, on my soul's path of helping other people to work through those kind of things. You know, my spiritual journey began when I wrote my car off on the M6 and span across the motorway. You know, that is quite a huge thing for somebody to experience, you know, the emotional things that go through that. But that was the catalyst of my spiritual journey, and that's where it started for me. And then particularly now, you know, I'm however many years ahead of you know, nearly 20 years into my spiritual path and journey. And I now realise that a lot of the things that I went through was so that I can be in this position to help other people. But I think we need to get out of the mindset that to, you know, always be on this spiritual path, that we're always going to have to suffer, because that's not true. That is a lack mentality. And also, it's about how you react and respond to the situations that are brought to you. And also, taking 100% responsibility for the things that do happen. Knowing that we create our own reality, whether we believe that we do that or whether we believe that we don't do that. So yes, the answer to the question is, do we have to suffer to be spiritual? And I think nearly everybody that you speak to who is on a spiritual path will have had some form of suffering. We all have. We're human beings we're spiritual beings having a human experience. Human experiences go up and down. You know, we have the peaks, the troughs, the highs, the lows. But it's the lessons that we learn from those that really make us the true spiritual beings that we came here to be, and to share our message and to help other people. Because that is where I feel being a true spiritual person is. It is about using our knowledge to help other people. That doesn't mean that you have to be a teacher. It doesn't mean you have to run workshops. It doesn't mean you have to sit on videos and talk to people. It just means that we're sharing our own unique spiritual essence with the world, with the people that we meet, with the people that we come into contact with. You know, if we are sharing our own uniqueness and the lessons that we've learned with them, then that is what being spiritual is about. And less focusing on the struggles and the suffering, and more focus on understanding what's going on and understanding our own reactions to it. Okay, so what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree? Do you not agree? Because when we think about anything within this world, it's all subjective and it's all relative, as I said before, because we all have our own belief systems. We all have what we believe to be our truths. And as a spiritual teacher myself, I urge you to do your own research with things. And if you don't agree with something I say, then that's fine. I've learned from many, many teachers over the last 20 years. But I don't always agree with everything that they say. I have to take what works for me. And I urge you to do the same. Go with your own belief system and what feels right for you. If it feels right for you, then it's right. So make sure that you are doing your own due diligence. Make sure that you are doing your own research. But I wish you well on your spiritual journey, because every day is a new, amazing day to learn new things. Okay. As always, hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell to be notified when I do more videos and more podcasts. And I'll see you in the next video.